this is my review of Mob Psycho 100. Okay, so it's the start of the final battle between the organization Claw and the Espers that rebel against him. So it's immediately apparent out of the gate that Claw has a lot of powerful Espers under its belt. Case in point, they're able to basically dismantle the police's abilities to come in and take them out at the Cultural Tower in Seasoning City, which is where they pulled up. But case in point, the Espers actually throw a building at them. And also, they can't actually get close with any air force or otherwise, because Hattori can control electrical equipment, which makes it kind of hard for any airborne attacks to successfully land. So it quickly becomes apparent that Claw is kind of untouchable while in the Cultural Tower, and the only people who are going to be able to take them out are the Espers that have gathered under Reagan. Reagan is immediately skeptical about the idea of actually going in a fight, and even persuades the rest of the group that they should just let the police handle it. But after finding out that his insurance actually doesn't cover psychic powers, because of course it doesn't, he decides to change his mind and decides to perform a pincer attack to actually get into the cultural tower and take down Claw. However, Claw is prepared for this, and they actually send several countermeasures to actually take them out. Meanwhile, Toichiro Suzuki has a conversation with his Ultimate 5 about why he has no remorse for his actions. It's explained that he learned from an early age that he should live for himself and only himself. And sure enough, he spent most of his life doing exactly what he wanted. And then even if the Ultimate 5 were to fall, it wouldn't put much of a damper on his mood. Pointing out that if he says that Claw is going to take over the world, then that's what's going to happen. And also during this he sends out some of his Ultimate 5 to actually deal with the pincer attack, having predicted that that's exactly what was going to happen, and that he should send them on the offensive to intercept it. He sends Shimazaki to infiltrate Reagan's underground team in the sewers. He sends Minagishi, who we've seen being able to control plants up to this point, so I don't think I should mention him for too much. But he shows up and attacks Sho's team, and Sho's Espers are able to hold him off, but not for very long. But long enough for Sho and Ritsu to actually get to the Cultural Tower, as seen in the next episode, or at least the preview for it. And finally is Shitori, who is the muscle of the group. He has an ability that enables him to enhance his muscles with psychic powers, and sure enough, he's sent directly to the hideout to take out Reagan and put a stop to his pincer attack. He immediately attacks Reagan with his group, but Reagan knocks them all out with a special spray that he had stolen from Sakurai a long time ago. So he used a special spray to knock them all out, and it even works on Shitori for a while, but then Shitori wakes up again and goes after Mob, and it doesn't work a second time, so Dimple has to get involved, and they jump out a hole in the wall. So, and then Reagan wonders if Mob and Dimple are going to be alright. And the short answer is maybe. So while that's happening, the diversion team is actually attacked by the former Scars, at which point it's revealed that Dorada is actually working for them as a spy. So it's revealed if he's still working for Claw, but he's working undercover and is mostly trying to sweep information out from under them, so he can have information for the enemy. But the main point of this episode is that Mob is being chased by the muscle guy. I believe I've gotten his name right. I probably didn't, but I'm assuming I did. But anyway, Satori chases after a Mob possessed by Dimple, and Dimple decides to lose him at first by hiding in a crowd. But after finding out that Tsubomi is in the same crowd, decides to defend her instead using Mob's powers, which works about as well as you expected a Mob to send flying. So that didn't work. At which point he's caught by the Body Improvement Club, and Dimple is kind of in tow because Mob was hit so hard that Dimple actually flew out of him and undid his possession. So Dimple is chasing after Mob, but he is caught by the Body Improvement Club, who were going on their initial route but had to take a detour because they weren't allowed through the area where they normally go. At which point, and they catch Mob. At which point, Shatori shows up and tries to fight them, but Gota steps in and intervenes, pointing out that he doesn't know what his beef with Kageyama is, but that he should probably leave him alone. However, Shatori doesn't listen and sends him flying as well. And even their strongest fighter, Odigawara, isn't able to actually deal any damage to him. So they're quickly in over their lead, and with all of the Body Improvement Club members scattered, Shatori then focuses on Mob and tries to squash him like a bug using his foot. But Gota actually steps in and shields Mob with his body, and thanks to his big muscles, he's able to actually survive being stepped on. And during this scene where he's actually being stepped on and defending Mob, he tells Mob that he actually admires how hard Mob works every single day to keep up with him, even when he's tired and even when he's not feeling his best. He keeps going on, and he admires Mob for that. At which point he starts fighting back against Shatori, a combination of his newfound adrenaline rush that was caused by his muscles expanding rapidly, and Dimple, who had finally caught up to the group and possessed Gota to fight back. And sure enough, the Dimple-possessed Gota is able to actually beat Shatori into the ground, pointing out that Shatori's muscles may be enhanced by psychic powers, but they're no match for Gota due to Gota's being made naturally. So he's easily able to overpower Shatori and then unpossesses Gota. But then Shatori gets back up and didn't quite get defeated. And Dimple quickly realizes that he's not going to be able to use Gota's body a second time because Gota is kind of worn out from being possessed the first time due to how much strain was on his muscles. But it turns out Dimple didn't have to, because Mob decides at that exact moment to wake up and actually knocks Shatori out with his psychic powers. At which point he's filled up to speed with what's going on by Dimple, and they part ways for the Cultural Tower. So yeah, this episode establishes a lot of different things. So it establishes that Claw kind of knew that there was going to be a pincer attack by other Espers. They kind of knew that, and they kind of counteracted it, but with their own attack, but of themselves. So they quickly realized that they were going to be attacked by Espers and put in countermeasures to defend against it. So it's clear that the Espers working under Reagan are going to have a very hard time actually fending off the Espers from Claw. Specifically, and sure enough, specifically, a lot of them are being attacked by the Ultimate 5, so it's going to be a bit rough for them. Specifically the group that got attacked by Shimazaki, because Shimazaki has been established to be very powerful. He can teleport and he can sense where people are at all times, despite being blind, so he's very dangerous. But I do imagine that the scars in that group are going to be able to handle him. There are many people in the Ultimate 5 that could actually put up a fight. I mean, Sarazawa definitely, and then one of the other ones has been taken out already. So that leaves three of their actual fighters, and one of them's been knocked out, and one of them isn't really much of a fighting type Esper. So it's going to be very different from what he is. He's very different. Hattori is very different. I don't remember. I don't know what I did, but I think I mixed up with their names. But in any case, Hattori is the only one that doesn't really have any combat powers. But also there are 4 other people who can fill in for him, so he really doesn't have to be. But in any case, yeah. Now Mob has been clued in and now has to go face off against the Espers at Cultural Tower, and we'll see how that goes next time. But for right now, if you guys did enjoy this episode of Mob Psycho 100, then what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple of bucks. It really helps me out. And you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that are my way saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!